8 years ago, this man's parents were assassinated. His enemies went to jail, and he and his sister are the only ones left alive. Now his sister is married and has a normal life. Devin, on the other hand, has nothing to live for but revenge. One day he was sleeping in his car when a policeman knocked on the window and took Devin to the police station. Before he could say anything, the cop told him. He was told that his enemy, Macon, was about to be released from prison. So, back to Devin decided to revitalize the start of revenge. He took out from the trunk of the battery stored for a long time, and a bucket of gasoline, loaded into a long time not open the blue car, embarked on the road to revenge, and then came to a gun store. The reliable him to pick up the garbage to earn some silver is not enough to pay for a gun. Devin drove all night to the prison gates, where Macon's wife was waiting. They hadn't seen each other in 8 years, and they couldn't contain their excitement. The car stops in the middle of the road, and a high-energy scene unfolds in the restroom. Meanwhile, Devin is following behind with a dagger in his hand, waiting to strike in the next bathroom. After an intense round of applause for love, Macon went to the sink to wash his face. Looking at his father's murderer, Devin couldn't hold back any longer and rushed in with his dagger in hand, killing Macon with a single blow. Devin quickly fled the scene, but when he saw Macon's limousine, he stabbed the tire. Devin was about to drive away when he suddenly realized that his car keys were missing. He had no choice but to flee in the leaking limousine. Devin was on the run, but stopped in the middle of the road, because there was a little boy sitting in the back seat, who was Macon's brother David. David saw the blood-stained Devin, trembling with fear. He trembled and said, "There is someone else who killed your parents. Macon is not the real murderer." David ran away in a panic, leaving Devin alone frowning in place. I didn't realize that Devin had been waiting for this day for so many years, but now he had killed the wrong person. Who could be the real murderer? Devin lost his mind and threw away his car. After walking around for who knows how long, he found a single-family house, and after making sure no one was living there, he snuck inside, took a hot bath, changed into clean clothes, and then turned on the TV to check the news. But he never saw any news of Macon's murder. Apparently Macon's family didn't choose to call the police, and all of a sudden Devin had a bad feeling about it. He was worried that his only sister would be implicated, so he left the villa in the night and came to his sister's home and told him all about his revenge killing. The sister also hated the murderer to the bone. Now for the safety of the child, she can only go out to avoid the wind first. Devin chose to stay at his sister's house in order to find the murderer. He waited for the murderer to come to his door. As expected, Macon's family came. They were outnumbered. Devin knew he was no match for them, so he turned on all the lights and taps in the upstairs bathroom and hid under the dining table on the first floor. When the murderers came upstairs, Devin quickly escaped from the room. He had just started the car and was about to leave when a man with a gun came at him head-on. Without hesitation, Devin hit the gas pedal and got out of the car to ask him what he wanted. But the man was knocked unconscious. And no matter how much he yelled, it didn't help. He had no choice. Devin had no choice but to put the man in the trunk and wait for him to wake up before torturing him. In the meantime, another murderer arrived, and before Devin could react, he stabbed him through the calf. He drove off in a panic, enduring excruciating pain. The arrow wound deepened, and the pain was unbearable, so Devin drove the car to a deserted corner, and then came to the drugstore alone to try to deal with the tendon wound on his leg. But the pain was so devastating that he gave up the idea and chose to come to the hospital to receive treatment. But the result was that when he got to the charging window, he fainted because of the loss of excessive blood. When Devin woke up again, the wound on his leg had been bandaged, but he was carrying a murder case on his back, and if the police found out, they would surely arrest him. So he took advantage of the doctor's inattention, wearing a hospital gown, and slipped out of the back door. Devin went all the way to his car and found that the man in the trunk had awakened, but considering his injuries, he was even less likely to be a match for the enemy, so he had to rummage through the dumpster and change into a shirt. Then he drove to his longtime friend Fatty, who generously gave him a gun after learning that Devin had taken the step of revenge. Devin drives to a vacant lot, opens the trunk, and releases the man. Under his questioning, the man explained everything. It turned out that his name is Kevin, is the brother of the dead Macon. His purpose is very simple, is to avenge the death of his brother. Devin is tired of this life after so many years. Now that even his own sister is involved, he thinks twice. He decided to give in to Kevin and turn himself in for the safety of his sister and her family. However, Kevin refused to let Devin go, and even if he shot him dead now, it would still be hard to get rid of his hatred. At the same time, he also revealed the murder of Devin's father. The homeless man finally took revenge for his father after 8 years, but he didn't expect to kill the wrong person. It turns out, Devin's father was having an affair with Kevin's mother. Kevin's father found out and killed Devin's parents in a fit of rage, but he was in poor health, so once he was arrested by the police, he was sure to die in prison. He would definitely die in jail. Kevin and Macon decided to take the fall for their father in order to save him from prison. But Kevin's previous conviction would have increased his punishment, so his brother Macon took the blame and went to jail for 8 years in his father's place. During the 8 years, Kevin's father passed away due to serious illness, and Macon, who had just been released from prison, was intercepted and killed by Devin. After learning the truth, Devin realized that he had killed the wrong man. But what's done is done. For the sake of his sister's return to normal life, Devin asked Kevin to meet his family for a talk, in the hope of resolving this grudge. But Kevin's cunning trickery. It picked up the phone and pretended to dial, and then took the opportunity to seize the gun in the hands of Devin. Without saying a word, he was going to shoot Devin right away. At this time, Devin gave up struggling, but unexpectedly after a gunshot, Kevin fell to the ground. It turned out that Devin's friend Fatty had been ambushed from afar. After the two of them briefly dealt with Kevin's body, the fat man also carefully taught Devin how to use the gun. After all, Devin has killed Kevin's brothers. There is no way back for him now. Only by eliminating Kevin's entire family, Connie and his sister returned to a normal life. He went to Kevin's house alone, but found it empty. Devin packed up all the guns in the house and threw them into the lake in front of the house for safety. After that, he used the house phone to contact Kevin's family, claiming that Kevin had been killed. Even his body was brought to the house. Kevin's family rushed back in the night after learning the news. At this time, Devin had already hidden inside the house, ready to attack them at any time. But when he really saw them, Devin hesitated. After all, it was his father who was in the wrong, and he had already finished off the two Kevin brothers if he continued to kill them. However, the next moment he heard that the three of them had not returned for a few days and were actually looking for revenge on his sister. Devin was furious and shot Kevin's helpers to death. When he was about to kill Kevin's wives, David, Kevin's youngest brother, suddenly appeared from behind. He shot Devin in the face. Luckily, he didn't hit him in the head. Devin doesn't fight back, but reminds David to wipe his fingerprints off the gun. After that, the three men in the house started shooting. After a burst of gunfire, they fell in a pool of blood. Devin had gotten his revenge, and he paid for it dearly. The movie is Blue Ruin. Dwight is an idle drifter whose parents were murdered years ago by a man named Macon Clellan. When Dwight learns of Macon's release from prison, his revenge begins. However, things don't go as smoothly as planned, and he is forced to consider how to protect his sister from Macon. This is Seahorse Movie. Go, 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 go.